Hello and welcome to episode 39 of the Youth Intake Challenge. We're making our first foray into League One. You saw the opening game last season. We're about halfway through the season now. We got the Youth Intake preview, so let's see how we're getting on. Into the competition view then, and the disappointing thing to say really is we're out of all three cups again. We got put out the first round of the FA Cup by Barnsley. I think it was a tough game, but they beat us 3-1 I think overall. Then we got knocked out in the second round of the Carabao Cup by Wimbledon. Again, it was a fairly tight affair, but best team probably won. And then most disappointingly, the Bristol Street Motors Trophy. We looked in a good position after the second game, but we got knocked out again. However, despite the disappointment of the cup competitions, what surprised us is the league form, where we're still in ninth. We've got a game in hand in some of the teams in the playoffs, and we're probably only in ninth because we've had a couple of key injuries, which I'll talk about when we get to the squad. But we're having a fantastic season in League One, and we've got an outside chance of making it into the playoffs against all odds, which is massively surprising. Looking into the schedule, kind of how things have gone since you were last with us. We'd obviously got the 1-0 win at Portsmouth on the opening day, which was a surprise. We got past Rochdale in the Carabao Cup first round on penalties, having Tony Dunk equalise in the 80th minute. Dunk scored 2 as we beat Watford away to keep the points tally going, and at that point we were looking really good in the league. However, a couple of draws against Oxford and Cambridge weren't too bad in terms of results as we bedded into League One, but it kind of stifled our little purple patch where we were going really well. We then got put out the Carabao Cup, as I said, by Wimbledon on penalties. Forest Green gave us an absolute hiding. We were playing away. Again, I can't really put much on why that particular result happened, because after that we bounced back. We beat Peterborough in the Bristol Motors Trophy 3-2. Another couple of goals from Tony Dunk. A really late winner there. We then drew with Peterborough in the league 0-0, which was a bit disappointing considering we just beat them in the game before, but never mind. Home form was really good. We're still unbeaten at this point at home as we beat Crawley 1-0. Jody Mandanda with a late penalty. But then Sheffield Wednesday, one of the bigger teams in the league, beat us 3-0. Bromley then put us out the Bristol Motors Trophy section in essence. That was the result that really killed us off. And then Colchester, we got a draw, and we got a really good winning run again. So 3 home games against Lincoln, Scunthorpe and Blackpool. 1 all them. Usual kind of Tony Dunk goal scorers in there, a bit of a Dean Spence special, and that's when we kind of hit a bit of a bad patch. Got 2 injuries, Jody Mandanda and Inglian Fredericks, who's our goalkeeper, and we went on a bit of a negative run there. So Oldham beat us 3-1. We got a few draws, so Rotherham, Barnsley, Bristol Rovers and Barnsley. That's kind of despite not having the goalkeeper. So I was on a quite positive note at that point. However, we then got put out both cups, and Swindon beat us in the league for 3 losses in a row. Recovered slightly with a 2-2 draw against Swansea. We beat Chesterfield, who I think were 3rd in the league at the time, which was fantastic. But since then we've gone on, we've lost to Wimbledon again and Sheffield United. So we need to pick up a bit of form when we go into the second half of the season. We've got players coming back. If we go into the squad, Fredericks is now back. However, his his absence gave Raymond Issaka a chance to play 7 first-team games, which has helped his development. So every cloud is a silver lining. But largely the squad's not looking too bad. We're not on the high form that we have been in previous best kind of players. Dunk, probably outlier of Brewstad because he only came on as a substitute. Dimitriadis is up there. Jody Mandanda, which is no surprise. In terms of the most appearances, you've got McAvoy and Dunk up there. Amal Taylor, who's been a bit of a surprise. He's played really well, both on the right wing and up front. But looking at players we're going to deep dive into today, then we've got Inglian Fredericks, the goalkeeper. He's not bad. He's 27. He's been around for a long time as part of the club. You can see that huge time. Went out a couple of times on loan, but he has played a huge number of games for a long time for us. He's been the first choice keeper for a while now. His development progress, probably not too much in the near term. However, his all-time stats rise has been pretty good. Mostly across the board, really solid goalkeeper. I think when you look at his kind of review, he's a good Sky Bet League 2 player. Probably not good enough for League 1, but until Issaka or Borrowdale go past, which Issaka's kind of overtaken Borrowdale, he will be our first choice keeper. So that kind of leans itself to the fact we need a good goalkeeper coming through in one of the next intakes. But yeah, all told, he's a good tall goalkeeper, good stats in the right places, good aerial reach. I mean, where's his reflex? It's 13, that's pretty good. And as a first choice goalkeeper, he gives us good base to work from. Moving on to one of the older players then we've had in the squad, Atienza, 28. He's been with us since the very, very beginning when we took over in the challenge. Again, really solid centre back. He's played 14 games, he's got 2 goals this season. So he's still getting a fair spread of matches as we go along, despite Christopher Friday and McAvoy being our first choice players. Looking at his kind of progress since he started, again, down in his technical attributes, and I think a lot of that is when he's been with the club so long that we didn't have as good of facilities or as many coaches at that stage, so he's maybe been a bit of a casualty of where the club were at that time. However, his mental attributes have gone up really well, and his physicals, which you can't see beyond there, but all of them apart from natural fitness have gone up by at least 2, but most of them are 4, and his strength's gone up by 6. So another really good servant to the club. He's been with us for a huge number of years, and he's been playing consistently since the second season. So in terms of 484 club appearances, that's phenomenal in the modern day. And long may it continue, because he's got a few more years left in him yet. Looking on to one of the surprise ones then of the season, if we get Montel Clifford, wherever he is, there he is. So initially we had him out on loan, Jamaican, young centre-half. He's played 6 games now at centre-half though, and as you can see, he's up to 4 Gustin 5-star potential, so he could be one for the future. He's 184 centimetres tall. His marking and tackling is a little bit low, but he's got really good positioning, really good heading, and he's strong. So I mean, he's done well since he's come in. When he's come in terms of his development progress, I don't think it'll be as high as some of the others. Yeah, I mean, he's not been with us overly long. However, he's starting to make some gains in the mental. His physicals have gone up quite a lot as he hits the right kind of age. Need his technical to go up a little bit. Not sure how much it will, but I think he is one for the future, and he could potentially make a good partnership with Christopher Friday once McAvoy maybe fades off a little bit. But he's only 18. He's got a few more years left in him, so getting exposure now is a real positive. Moving on from that then, one of my favourites, Csaba Racsko. Big question mark around him at the minute. It's been touted within the media that one of the American clubs in the MLS might put in a bid of about 4.5 to 5 million for him. And I think if that did happen, I would have to reluctantly let him go, because as we get onto the finance section later, we're not in a great place financially, and it's hampering us from making some of the improvements that we really need. I'd like to keep him because I think he's brilliant. He's only 20. He's already got 18 caps for Hungary. He's just an absolute first teamer. Plays in that deep line playmaker role. In terms of his development, I mean, I would have thought his is probably one of the better ones. Yeah, so he's even got lots of positives in the technical side, just about everything in the mental side, and just about everything in the physical. And he's still only 20, so there's lots more growth to come from him. But dictates the tempo of the game. Good balance, composure, relative good first touch. His vision's fantastic. So from a creative point of view, he would be a huge loss. However, when we get into the financial section, if he's only worth 1.8 to 2.7 and they're going to double that at about 5 million, I think we'll have to let him go. And that goes for all the players. If we get some big bids now, we might have to consolidate our position in League One, not kind of go all eggs in one basket and end up in a division where we can't cope. But we need to rebalance the books and get a few more improvements to the facilities in there. Last one we're going to kind of look at then is Giorgos Dimitriadis, another one who's been here for not a massive amount of years. I don't think he's anywhere near 10 yet, but he's been here for, well, he has been, look, that is like 10 years. That surprises me because he's still only 24, but he's been with us a huge number of years, playing a lot of games. He kind of faded off, and I thought Efe Otodo was going to overtake him. But he's managed to force himself back in there. You can see he's probably got one of the better average ratings of the season, which we saw at the start. But he just has some really good physicals. He's really quick. He can dribble. He's got good technique, and he's good off the ball. And I think that's what's getting him by, and that's what's setting him above the rest on the left-hand side. But again, if somebody came in for him and gave us money above that 1.7 million, I think we'd probably have to maybe let him go. Again, in terms of his development progress since he arrived, not too bad. He's had some negatives. His fitness has gone down a little bit, but it's 15 anyway. But his off the ball's gone up massively. His dribbling and his crossing have gone up, and his technique's gone up. So I think he's rightly first team at the minute. I think he'll stay in there. He can play centre mid as well. It's a really good squad player to have. But that's where we are. In terms of the intake preview then, it's not looking spectacular. We've only got one above a C, and that's for a striker, which, that being said, we do need some backup because Tony Dunk can't do everything on his own and he can't play every game, so we need someone else to come through. So a striker's not necessarily bad. A goalkeeper, there's only one coming through and it seems to lack the quality, so I'm not sure what that's going to look like. Some centre-backs are always useful. Wingers are probably not too bad for at the minute. A wing-back's not quite in the position we want. Full-backs, always looking for a full-back. There's none coming on the left. There might be one on the right, which would be good for backup for Coleman. And then not too much really in terms of great quality within the midfield. However, getting Tahiri through in the last intake kind of bolsters that midfield option. But that'll be counterbalanced if we have to let one of the midfielders go on a big fee. Looking at the other bits then, so the worst part to look at is the vision, because for the first time we've got that failure on there. We didn't reach the knockout stages of the Motors Trophy. It's massively frustrating. It's a big negative for us, and we're currently not playing attacking football. We're playing cautious, just because of where we are in our kind of stature within the league. However, we're going to have to look to address that in the future. Looking finance-wise, it's not a pretty picture. I thought this would have recovered a little bit when we got the new stadium, etc. However, it's just not picked up. I'm not quite sure how to rectify it other than a massive sale of some sort, which, as you can see, 1.5 million down. If we could get 5 million, I mean, that's taken us 3 years to get 1.5 million down. 5 million will go a long way to balancing the books for a number of years. So that's why I'm considering it. Let me know in the comment section if you think I'm bonkers, whether you think we should hold on to him. But if I don't get bids for other players, I'm going to have to do something, because this is spiralling a little bit out of control, and we've got to do something. And that is, I think, a full update on where we are. I don't think there's anything else really to look at. So I'll leave you there. What I'll do is I'll start smashing through the rest of the season to get towards the youth intake. I think it's going to be a bit of a weird one. Now we've got the players back, we might be able to pick up some of the form. We've got some that we've not played late in Orient yet. We've got them twice. Hopefully we play some teams down the lower end of the league and recover our form a little bit. And the ultimate aim now, I think, is to try and squeeze our way into the playoffs, just to have something to play for come the end of the season, as we wait for the next intake and players to develop. So hopefully you've enjoyed it. It's been an update. The season's going much better than expected. League One is not being anywhere near as hard as that frustrating season we had in League Two. However, that might well come in the future. And until next time, enjoy yourselves, take care, and I'll try and get the next one out in a few days. See you soon.